Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Kate Hamilton Health Podcast. Today's episode, and I don't say this lightly, is probably one of the most enjoyable conversations that I've ever had on this podcast. Definitely one of the most inspirational conversations that I have ever had on this podcast. And I really, really mean it when I don't say that lightly, because I feel like every guest has been amazing and has brought their own level of value to this podcast and to you. And I love that everyone is so different. Mike Burton, who you're about to hear from now in a minute, is just, you know, when you meet someone and they're just, you know, that they're a special soul. Like, he is absolutely incredible. You'll find him on Instagram, Mike Burton's Positive Messages. His goal in life is just to make everyone's life a little bit happier. And it's so simple. He shares a message every single day to focus your attention on something positive in your life. And this comes from, you might be thinking, oh, another positive person, great. You know, that doesn't help me in my situation. But if ever there was a person to speak on overcoming adversity and building resilience, Mike is the guy. His story is absolutely incredible. We don't start with his story. We talk a little bit. He wanted to get straight into talking about how other people can feel better and improve their lives. We do, as the conversation goes on, dive a little bit into his past and all of the adversity that he went through. It's an incredible story, absolutely incredible. I'm actually not going to give any spoilers. I'm going to leave it to the storyteller himself. But I know that after listening to this podcast episode, that each and every one of you that listen to this is going to take something from it that will stay with you forever. It's, you know, I'll say no more. Enjoy. Mike, welcome to the podcast.
Yes, I can't believe it. And I know we didn't hit record, but yeah, let's shoot the shit.
Yes, we are here today to shoot the shit. Mike, the reason why I asked you to come onto this podcast, as you know, I heard you speak at a social circle event probably nearly this time last year.
Yes, a couple of months away.
Yeah. And you spoke about your own personal story and then, you know, the work that you do now. And it was captivating, if I'm quite honest, and I'm not over exaggerating, to listen to you talk. And I just find that your energy is just so infectious in a good way. And I was like, we have got to chat and talk.
Yeah, I've managed to channel the ADHD the right way, I think now. Do you know? But
Well,
purely into positivity, that's it.
Well, as Kieran O'Neill always says, I don't know if you know Kieran, but he always says ADHD is his superpower. So
it is genuinely it is my superpower. Do you know when I say that? It's often, even when I go speak at events, I always, not for the glory, I love to be the keynote speaker. And I love to, I pride myself on when I'm a speaker is I'm not a turnkey speaker. The talk's never about me, it's about us. And I think that's where people go wrong in anything, whether you're a content creator, you're an inspirational speaker, you're a coach, or you're just somebody who works in an office. Everything you do shouldn't be about you, it should be about us. And that's even this podcast today. I will apologize because I'm going to end up interviewing you as well, because I'm so invested in, I genuinely want, this is my goal in life. I genuinely want everyone to live a happier and more positive life, you know, and to feel comfortable in their own skin for at least one day.
I love that. And because my next question was going to be, tell everybody what you do. So that is your mission, is it? To make everyone feel?
Well, it is now. It is now, yeah. But obviously my life's been absolutely crazy. Do you know, I'll be honest, I don't think I found myself until most probably I started that journey of knowing myself 2 years ago. And I think I'm nearly there now. But I don't ever, if anybody's listening to this, I'll try and get as many golden nuggets in as possible. I could talk in depth about things, but I want people to be able to get takeaways from it. Do you know? And when I say this is, if you're listening to this right now and you feel comfortable and you're not moving forward, that's the most dangerous place to be. You should always be operating 10% outside your comfort zone, because if you're not moving forward, you're standing still. And an idle mind is where you start to have all those negative thoughts, you overthink, you start to doubt yourself, and ultimately that's where poor mental health creeps in. Because I'll be honest with you, you cannot be happy and sad at the same time. And, if you're focused on something positive, working towards something, all of that negative noise and all of those problems will be suppressed. But when you are not moving forward and you're not challenging yourself and you haven't got a goal or any aspirations, that is when all of that self-doubt, overthinking will come in.
Yeah. For someone who feels really stuck though, and they're like, oh, Mike, that sounds, easy in theory, but like, I don't even know what I want to do. I don't even know what to do. I just feel stuck and I have all these great plans and then nothing happens.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things I'd say to you is if you're in that position, because I've been there, you're most probably suffering from social anxiety. And all of those ideas that you have in your own mind are usually what you think everyone else thinks you should do. You actually haven't looked inside and said, who am I? What do I want to do? What is my biggest fears? And I genuinely say this. I posted a reel the other day about it, a clip from when I was speaking on stage at a fitness event, a bit like a community group like yours. And it was just incredible, 100 people in the room. And until you can, let's be honest, if anybody's watching this, they're looking at this for motivation. That's where you're going wrong. Yeah. Motivation is your job. Yeah. Kate's job, my job is inspiration. Motivation, you need to figure out inside. Yeah. What are my biggest, darkest secrets that I'm not telling anybody? And then you need to make sure you start fixing those and face up to them. Acceptance and personal accountability is the first thing that you need to do. Once you figure out what your problems are and what your biggest doubts and fears are, then you can start to fix them. And you still should be looking internally now. What do I know about myself? What can I fix? So a prime example, if you've exercised your whole life, so you know about exercise, you go to the gym. Many people watching this will know this. So if I move a bit more, I can burn a bit more energy, burn some more calories, I can potentially lose weight and get fitter. They don't need a coach for that. Yeah, they can get moving straight away.
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, somebody looks inside and says to myself, actually, like I've suffered everything in my life but sexual abuse, domestic violence, I've been beaten up by my stepfather. There's some severe things, that we've spoken about, physical, emotional abuse. I've had racist abuse. My biological dad left before I was born. My stepdad abused me. I went to multiple different primary schools, couldn't read and write at 16. When I looked inside, I can't fix that problem myself. So I need to go to somebody else to help me to support that.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying to people is look inside, figure out what your biggest problems are, know what you want to change, know where you want to go. And then when you know what you can't fix, then go get a coach or a therapist to help you fix that. Because I'm going to ask you a question, Kate. If one of your clients came in on an onboarding call and they could tell you all of that, how fast would their progression be with you?
If they could tell me what.
If they can come in and tell you all of their true secrets, like somebody's done all of that internal work and they come to you and they put it all there for you, rather than you spending 6 months where you have to almost, let's be honest, you can be an amazing coach, but you also find yourself being a therapist a lot of the time because you're trying to work with people on an emotional level. Because there's one thing for sure, if you haven't fixed your mind and mindset, trying to eat well, track calories, exercise, move forward in any type of area of your life is just not going to happen, because it's like you're swimming upstream.
Yeah.
That is where it all starts. So I know from meeting you, all of your amazing, and I see this, and I know the comments will come, is all of your amazing clients and community will love you because you're a people's person. You're smiling, you're bubbly, you'll make them feel safe. But that can take time.
Yeah.
And everybody wants a quick fix. So if you want to speed your progress up, take personal accountability day one. Don't put the accountability in your hands to try and work through it. Because if you know everything you want to improve, you've got all of the data you need, but I bet you spend months capturing it.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people, when they first join coaching, let's say, a lot of the goals or a lot of the struggles can be kind of surface level, which is nothing wrong with that. When I first got into fitness, it was because I wanted to lose weight and look better. But like what you said, it is about confronting the barriers. So when I'm talking to someone and they're like, I've been on a diet for the past 10 years and nothing works, and and it's the same vicious cycle. And the one thing that changes when they come on board with me is like the mindset work, having to face
Yeah.
that head on. And some people aren't ready to. And some people
No,
probably need, another level of professional help that is out of my
100%.
scope of practice. But for a lot of people, if they're willing to put pen to paper, if they're willing to give themselves that little bit of space to even just think and reflect on
Yeah, a little bit of discomfort.
or
Just,
what I find is the worst form of self-sabotage is perfectionism. So they sign up and they're
oh,
like, they can't stick to the plan, and then they just disappear and they're beating themselves up and they're guilty and I can't do this, rather than being like curious, just have a curious mindset.
yeah.
Why can't you do this? Because we all face things that we can't do initially. And if you can be curious about it rather than critical,
Yeah,
life changing.
I've got a really, I don't class myself as being intelligent, but I've got a way of taking really complex things and give people things they can connect to. So ask yourself this question for anyone, and you might even use this with your clients. Do you know, if you ask them, do you exercise because you want to feel better, genuinely, do you know, about yourself? Or do you want to look better? And if you ask yourself the question, they can be very similar, but you want to feel better. So the biggest wake up call I ever had was after training most of my life on and off. When I realized I exercised for my mental health, not my physical health, the priority was for my mental health. Do you know how easy it is to put your gym gear on? Because I say this, there's never a social thing as a bad workout. So when I walk through the door, if I feel good, I train a bit harder. If I don't, I just take it easier. But guess what? I'd never do. I don't not turn up, because when I walk through the door, people perfection, as you said. If I don't hit that certain speed of a mile, if I don't lift that PB, if I don't increase my reps this week, if my strength doesn't go up, then you've lost. So what I'm saying to you there, so many people rob themselves of happiness because they're only happy when they get to that goal. And I'm going to ask everybody a question on this. If I could see you face to face, everybody listening to this or watching it, if you've achieved a 5K time, if you've bench pressed 100 kg, you've got to a size 10 dress, whatever it may be, that moment of fulfillment, how long did it really last? Not very long before you're thinking about what's next. So if you don't learn to enjoy the journey of every single day, turning up, trying to be the best version of yourself, not perfection, the amount of happiness. Because if you like for me, I've just lost 4 stone, right? If my only happiness came when I went from 20 stone to 16 stone, that's taken me over a year. That means I'm not happy for over a year, because I'm only happy when I get here. Imagine if I celebrated every time I turned up to the gym, which I do. Every time that, I've done a workout when I didn't want to, but also every time I did a workout when I felt great and I smashed it. And every time I lost half a pound, it was a celebration. Every time I ate a kebab as a treat, I loved it. So, the amount of happiness that I've had in this 1 year, 2 month journey has been amazing. But how many people are lost because all it is about the beginning and the end, when actually the magic's in the middle?
Yeah, I know. I couldn't agree more. Mike, have you read the book The Gap and the Gain?
Right. I have to tell you this. I get asked all the time, people go to me, I post videos every day, as you know. I've posted now 773 videos in 773 days.
Yeah.
And not to blow up, not to do anything, because I haven't, to make a positive difference to the world. I get people all the time going, Mike, and this is going to be really controversial, but oh, you must have read this book, Atomic Habits. Oh, you must have David Goggins. Oh, The Gap and the Gain, The Secret. And I go to them, no, I don't read books or really listen to podcasts or anything.
It just all
And
comes coming in.
they go, why not? And I went, my view on it, whether you are, James Clear, whether you are Chris Williamson, anybody who's wrote a book, yeah, guess what? They've only, barring scientists, everybody's wrote a book on this beautiful game called life, Kate.
Yeah.
And all they've managed to do is put it into words. So if you're self-aware enough to look inside, guess what? You're just living life writing your own book, not reading someone else's and trying to put it into practice.
I think you have just taken so much pressure off so many people. I've never heard anyone say something like that before, but it's so true. And actually, I listen to audiobooks a lot. Like I tend to listen to them while I'm training because it stops me from talking myself out of training. I look forward to going to train to listen. So it works well for me. I know a lot of people listen to
Yeah.
podcasts or books when they're walking. I like to be kind of present when I walk. But anyway, I was listening to a podcast actually this morning when I was training with Matthew McConaughey, and he was talking about how his mother was always like, "Why are you watching TV? Why are you sitting there watching someone else do something? Get outside and go do
Yeah,
it
yeah,
yourself."
it's true.
And it's so true. And I think, the books, podcasts can be hugely helpful. Inspiration. Sure, like we're literally recording a podcast. Like you said, you
Yes.
can't rely on them for motivation. You can rely on them for inspiration. Yeah,
Inspiration, 100%.
absolutely. But then you have to get up and do. But the reason why I was asking about that book, The Gap and the Gain, because the whole mindset around that is exactly what you do, that you're doing naturally, is like a lot of people live their lives in the gap. So they're always measuring their progress towards the goal they're going towards. So if you're listening and you've got like 8 stone to lose, and you're thinking about how long that journey is ahead of you, or you have a business goal and you're like, at the minute I'm working 3 jobs, I'm never going to be able to make a living off this business or whatever it is, and it just seems so unattainable. You're living in this negative narrative and you can't actually enjoy the moment because you're always
No.
stressed, or whether you're stressing or worrying about money or stressing or worrying about your health or whatever it is, you're looking at
Yeah,
the future. So you're living in the gap.
100%.
But the whole message of the book is always measure backwards. So where you are, and people are always talking about goals, 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 which are great and they have their place.
Yes.
But we need to measure our progress backwards. As in,
Why? Questions why?
why? We need to measure our progress backwards so that we can be grateful for how far
Yes,
we've come.
that's where true gratitude's
Yeah.
found, my
Yeah.
friend. Yes, that is it.
Yes, like, and
That's
be
it.
able to enjoy the moment and be like, and because we're so busy and because we are goal orientated, which is great, we forget to stop. We forget to stop and just be like,
Yeah.
holy shit, look how far I've come.
Do you know? I've got a great analogy for this that I just made up one day. It just came out when I was speaking. You'll notice this because I've got all these because the thing you were just talking about. You imagine getting lost in the future, and you are an overthinker and you're struggling from anxiety. Amplify that by 1,000, and that is why you end up going nowhere. Because most people who are starting a fitness journey or a personal development journey are an overthinker. You're an overthinker because you have been beating yourself up for years for not taking action or taking action and failing, that you are already preempting the failure that's coming. So you're always looking forward thinking, I'm never going to achieve it. I'm going to tell Kate I am going to achieve it, but you're doubting yourself every single day that I can achieve it. And when you actually go to the point of looking backwards to think, the biggest thing that I've done that I'm grateful for is going back to what I said at the beginning, I'm going to admit I've never done it before. I'm going to learn from every mistake of why I haven't achieved it before. I'm going to tell Kate so she knows exactly all my failures, thoughts, and feelings and self-beliefs, and then she can help me overcome them. But we won't, because all it is this is the time I'm going to change my life. This is the time, Kate. You are the person, and it's like, actually, what's going to be different unless you look backwards? But the analogy that I'm looking at is, you imagine you're driving a car. Yeah? You're driving a car, and obviously you've passed your tests, because obviously before you pass your test, you have to do everything properly, look in the rearview mirror, signals. But this is what I say to people is, when you drive your car, treat your life like this. You get in the car and you're driving along. Yeah, every person wants to pass the test. You're driving along, you're always looking forward. Of course you are, don't want to crash. But every now and then, yeah, you just scan in your wing mirrors, don't you? Just to check if anybody's there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's you. You make a decision you want to change. Listen to this when I say to everybody, yeah, make a decision. It's not going to be perfect, but you can make it right along the way. Make a decision and make it right along the way. Don't expect it to be perfect. So as we're driving, we're going along, we've made a decision to change your life. What we are going to do is looking at wing mirrors every now and then to see what we're doing on this journey, to make sure we're going to correct our course and that nobody or anything's going to come and side swipe us and knock us off track.
Yeah.
But every now and then it gets tough, and we need some motivation and belief that actually we're a better person that our negative self-talk tells us. So guess what we have to do? Check the rearview mirror just to go, yeah, actually, I'm doing a lot better than I thought. Because we get lost in the future, and we get lost in comparison to the person in the group who's doing better than me.
Yeah, the person driving alongside you with the nicer car. Yeah.
And the best, it's true.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, you can look at it, and you look at that same analogy, and I say to people is, You can look at this. You're driving along in your Vauxhall, you're driving along in your Golf, driving down the street. Somebody comes past you in a Lamborghini, and you can sit there and go, my life's absolutely shit. I can't believe I ain't got a Lamborghini. Or you can look at it and go, that'll be me one day. I'm going to get grafting.
Yeah. I love it. And do you know that what I like as well about that car analogy? Everything you've said, plus once you know where you want to go, you can always change your mind along the way. But you have a general destination. If you take a detour and you go the long way around, that's also okay. Like we all take wrong turns. It's all part of it. Like there's plenty
And
of road.
I always say, so many simple things you can live your life by. Make a decision, make it right along the way. Done.
Yeah.
Just remember that. Everybody can take that away. I've made a decision. Do I know how it's going to go? No, but I'll make it right along the way, because until you get moving forward, you'll never get any data to correct the course.
Yeah.
While you stood still, you still stood still in the same place. So if you're listening to this, get up, take positive action today, because your absolute happiest life is waiting for you. I promise you that. I promise you.
And I don't know about you, but like I've found with my own life, with all of the changes, like my listeners have heard me repeat myself so many times, so I won't get into it too, but just for a bit of context for you, I spent 15 years as a primary school teacher and then made this career change into health and fitness. And, while having 3 kids and a mortgage and, like there was a lot of financial pressure and people thought I was crazy. But I found every little decision I made that this journey started back in 2015. So it's 10 years in the making. And it started with me buying a home workout guide at the time and working out on my kitchen floor with my 2 small kids. That's how it started. And it led one step to another step to another step to suddenly I was a coach, to suddenly I was a bit on like working on the side. Suddenly I was handing in my notice as a teacher. Obviously loads of small steps in between in this big period. But when I was the girl on my kitchen floor doing sit-ups and push-ups, I had no aspirations to be a coach, nor did I have any type of self-belief.
You're just moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. I was just moving forward. I was like, it's time to maybe start drinking a little less, stop smoking. You know what I mean? Let's get a little bit healthier. You're heading towards 30, at the time. And, I suppose you better be healthy for your kids. So that was kind of my mindset. And that all that was that small little step. And it's like, only like, again, the driving analogy, all you actually need to see is that if you're driving along in your car at night, is a little bit of road in front of you, because the next step will reveal you. But what stops us is fear. It's the fear of failure. But it's amazing the mad decisions I make now, because I really trust it. And I'm like, okay, I really want to make this decision now. I really like, there's so many reasons why I shouldn't, but it just feels right. Like,
why do you take it? Why do you take the decision and take the risks now?
For a long time, I actually had a very limiting belief that I thought I was being really kind of reckless.
I'm going to be really stupid. I'm going to do mindset coaching with you here. This is a problem for me now.
No. I love this, because initially I had a lot of guilt around that and shame around.
Why have you not anymore? Why have you not anymore?
Because I built the evidence.
Yes, there we go. That's the key. And I'm not being a pain. Don't want to listen to the stuff. I want to get, we say to people that is amazing, because everybody listening needs to listen to what you just said there. You can only start becoming more confident when you have the evidence to back up that it's not going to fail.
And that's why the baby steps are so important.
Yes. Back to the beginning. What do we say? 10% outside your comfort zone. Achieve it. Another 10. Don't ever go 100, because let's be honest, everybody's tried a fad diet. You've tried to read a book. You've tried to flip your whole life on its head straight away and go 120 mile an hour or something. Nobody lasts 21 days. And that's only when your habits start to form. Nobody's making 66 days consecutively. Like when I get up now, I can remember, I was only saying this to my partner this morning. I've gone through, a breakup. I've gone through, all of the trauma in my life. What I've actually gone through over the last 2 years has been horrendous, and I've still turned up every single day on this page that I post my messages on. And I only literally, Kate, when I say this, I class myself as being one of the most positive people in the world. I still struggle with my mental health, self-doubt, anxiety all the time, but I have the evidence to be able to support me to move forward. And every now and then, this morning, I use that same analogy we're talking about. I look backwards and thought, Mike, for 700 days, you've actually been struggling through a really unhappy period of your life, but you found something that makes you happy and you've turned up every single day, and be proud of yourself. And this morning was a moment of reflection for me. And I thought, yeah. And that is testament to, if you ever think to yourself, you're on a fitness journey, for example, because this is what a lot of listeners will be on. If you're turning up every single day, but you haven't seen the physical changes, still give yourself an absolute massive pat on the back, because you're turning up because you clearly love something. And if you fixed a true problem in your life, I was in an unhappy relationship, so I sat there drinking 6 to 8 bottles of Peroni and a pizza for over 300 nights of a year, gained 4 stone. Still, positive Mike in the morning, Charlie's dad in the afternoon, on an evening, suppressed, unhappy. When I fix that problem, Kate, now I train less than I ever did. I can't get as many C dips because I've got my son on alternate nights. I got no structure. I've got more stress from the breakup than I ever had. Never been happier and healthier in my life, because the one true thing that was really holding me back was not being in a happy relationship where I was supported, loved, and cared for. Because the one thing I know now, and I don't mind sharing, and we've all got this to some degree, there's a broken little boy in me still that needs loving, because it was abused by the people who should have looked after him. So now I know that I just need love, care, and attention. And if I've got that, everything else will fall into place.
Your level of self-awareness is just incredible, and there's so many different branches of this that I want to take this in relation to, I suppose, a little bit. I don't want to spend too long on the podcast of you like delving too far into your past, because I know there like, and I know you talk about it a lot, but there's a lot of painful stories. But just for a little bit of
Yeah.
context, and people are listening and they're like, wow, oh my god, this advice is amazing, who is this guy? Well, that, and I know some people will be like, oh my god, he's amazing. And your wisdom really does come from your life experience. So to give people a little bit of a background as to the kind of things that you have been through that have helped you build who you are today, I suppose.
I genuinely believe, if my first slider when I go speak is champion in the face of adversity. And I think there's many of us out there. And when I look at this, and I never thought I'd see the word champion, but if I was going to give you a 3 to 5 minute, and this is going to sound strange, highlights of the worst things in my life. Do you know, when I say that I had to overcome to become a champion, before we talk about any of my achievements? Because when I say to people is, I've achieved a lot, but you'll never see it on my page. Do you know when I say this? But so imagine this: before I'm even born, I'm mixed race. Yeah, I'm mum's English, dad's African. Dad left before I was born. Up till 7, lived on and off with my mum, my nana, and granddad. Amazing people. Then a guy comes into my life with my mum. I thought I'd hit the jackpot. Yeah, I've got something that I saw kids having at school every single day. The dad picking them up, taking them to football. Do you know, seeing that perfect family, everybody walking down the streets holding hands, all white. I was mixed race. There wasn't many people on the estates where I lived who was mixed race, just me. So I started to think, I want that in my life. I got it in my life and I thought it was amazing. 2 years later, I realized that this guy wasn't David Beckham like I thought. He wasn't perfect. He was abusing my mum, then he abuses a family. We suffered everything but sexual abuse at the hands of him. And that's physical to some extreme measures that I don't share online, but I share face to face, the things that he did to me, mum and my sister. But let's just say entrapment, everything was there. We spent 6 years going through that before we broke out of it. Everything from death threats to being threatened to be killed to, letters, bullets through the post, everything. Absolutely horrendous. Not going to multiple different primary schools and secondary schools, not having education, couldn't read and write, moving around all over the country, running away, trying to settle. We settled back at home, 13 years old, on an estate, one of the roughest estates in the country at the time. It was on the news. I'm there, racial abuse after being there for 3 hours, fighting for acceptance for the next 6 months. Then I get accepted into the gang and local community. Yeah, I felt accepted for the first time in my life. I wasn't a bad person. I remember what my nana said to me. Be kind, you can achieve anything. So I was a sheep, like many people are. You don't have to be in a gang to be a sheep. You can be in the wrong social circle, which means drinking, eating, anything that's not actually cohesive to your progression. I did everything from underage drinking, drugs, selling drugs, running drugs, stealing cars, robbing places, until the point when I nearly went to prison, but I didn't. So at 16 years old, I've got no friends, no dad, suffered all that trauma. I can't read and write, no GCSEs, and I'm walking in the enrolment hall. I can't even read the enrolment card to get myself into college. And that is when my life restarted. And I started at the lowest level course you can, which you'll know from being a primary school teacher. Year 3 is the same as like entry level 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where I was at. So my life restarted then. And then obviously I started to build a new life for myself. Learned to read and write, ended up becoming a trainee gym instructor, working in the college gym. Then I went to becoming a personal trainer, had my own personal training business. I've had one job interview at this point when I was 17 for a trainee gym instructor job. I've never had another one since, ever.
That
So,
doesn't surprise me, actually.
why is
You
it not
interview
surprising?
really well. I'd
Sorry.
say you interview really well. I'm not surprised.
And it was genuinely at that point when I say to people is, when we talked about making the decision and making it right along the way, I didn't know I was living that. Because what I was doing is I made a decision that I was going to work hard. I didn't know what I was going to do. I had no vision. I always say people don't have any positive role. If you haven't got a positive role model in your life, or parents that paved the way for you, how do you know how to live life? Everything that my life told me is just abuse people. You're going to be rejected. Reject other people. Don't stick around. Don't aspire to be anything. That was all I saw. So when I turned up and started building this life, I'll be honest with you, I built this life through fear of failure. I didn't realize at that time at 17, 18, 19, 20 that I suffered with social anxiety, that I had mental health problems, but I didn't know because nobody would. You're not self aware. You just said you're so self aware. That's been absolutely like, when we talk about how you make diamonds, that's how I feel my life's been. I've been the pressure to get to that point. But then I didn't realize all these jobs I was doing. So gym instructor, personal trainer, I started my own personal training business, ended up with 60 odd clients because this is what I say to people. The best thing you can do in life is just be kind and be a good communicator. When I was working in the gym, I spoke to every single person. I had a 4.5 hour a week contract in the gym. Don't get me wrong. I told anybody who'd listen, I want a trainee. I was fully qualified gym instructor, especially women. It's like, but I was at that point, I was like, but I spoke to everybody, young, old. I'd help people with programs, because and the other side, I didn't know I was undiagnosed ADHD. So you can imagine me in a gym, wanting to make friends because I'm used to being rejected, got loads of energy, can't sit still, and I'm dead kind because my nana told me to be kind. So I wasn't a bad person. So I just helped everybody. When I started personal training, guess what? Everybody wanted me to train them. Not because I was the best trainer, because I was a good person. And that was it. So then I built that. I ended up becoming a teacher for the kids on my course where I started entry level 1 sport. So I did that. So then I ended up teaching that. I ended up redesigning the whole curriculum because these was kids on youth offending. These was kids who's been kicked out of school, let down by school, no qualifications, broken families. And I ended up transforming the whole of the education. And I realized words didn't connect with them. So I built a whole curriculum through digital media and pictures. I made the maths and English teachers and everybody design their lessons on pictures of the kids. And then the kids started engaging, 100% attendance, 100% achievement, everybody progressing. Kids coming off youth offending. I got nominated and won an award for being a positive role model, National and Quality Diversity Awards. And then from there, I was like, wow. Microsoft was the head sponsor. They invited me to go speak at their head office. So I went to speak just up my life to this point. And I spoke, and afterwards I got a standing ovation from their leadership and quality diversity team. They said, you should share that story to inspire kids. So at this point, now I'd started teaching personal trainers and gym instructors as well as these sport kids. So I used to teach adults on a night time. So I designed this personal training course because everyone had to go away to do it. So I did it in my hometown before on this online PT stuff. So then I had a Wednesday off in the day. So I thought I'll just go around schools and see if anybody wants me to help them. I got booked up for 2 years going into schools. And then at that point, I went into some of the hardest alternative provisions. So, PRUs. Do you know the ones that when kids are kicked out of school? So I went into those to help them, and the council booked me to see if I could help them change the system. And two guys who was part of it offered me a job and said, "Would you come and work for us?" And I was like, "No way," because I didn't know. I honestly, I won't lie to you, I'd achieved all this. I still felt like the house of cards was going to come down any minute. I'm going to get found out.
Wow.
Dyslexic, learning difficulties, everything. I just thought I couldn't do it. So at that point, they offered me something that I tried to self sabotage it. I said to the guys at the school, I want a full time wage for doing 4 days a week. And I told the college, I'm only staying if you pay me half my wage for doing 2 nights and 1 day. No one's agreeing to that. They both fucking agreed to it. They put me in a spot. I was like, shit. So at that point, I either had to, my anxiety was going both ways: fear of failure to take it, or fear of rejection and looking stupid for not taking it. So I went and did it. 2 years later, me and the two guys opened our own school. Ofsted came, designed their own curriculum, everything there, opened my own school. So now I'm a principal. I'm a principal in my own school, couldn't read and write at 16. Do you know? So now then we went from there, and I wanted to help more kids with severe needs. So I took it from being an independent school with the two guys to an independent special school. So then we started helping kids with social, emotional, mental health, ADHD, learning difficulties, global development delay, and autism. So we did that: 20 kids, 40 kids, 50 kids, 2 schools, 3 schools. Now I'm an executive principal of 3 schools. Someone come along. While I'm doing all this, I've started my own charity, raised £300,000 for charity. Didn't take any government money because I wanted to be able to spend it on what I wanted to spend it on. So I'd help homeless, schools, people who was excelling in sport in a small little seaside town. I'd give them everything that they needed to pursue their dream. And they went on to be we've had Commonwealth gold medalists in boxing. We've had Paralympians come from the town from that little bit of support that I gave them. So at this point, I'm doing all this school stuff, doing this, get an email from the Queen, been chosen to be a Commonwealth baton bearer. So I went in to do that, and I was like, what's this? Didn't celebrate it, didn't tell anyone because I was so scared. I didn't feel like I deserved it because I had no self belief. And you think you're achieving all this, and I was genuinely, at this point, Kate, I still hadn't had a job interview. I had another job interview, 17. And now all of that, charity work, everything. One other thing I did alongside that, and I still don't believe in myself, but everybody on the outside thought I would. I set up Grimsby and Cleethorpes Biggest Loser. So I missed fitness. So what I did is I set a health and wellbeing group up. I took 100 people every 6 months, transformed their life, and the top 20 came to the town hall. I gave them everything: mental, physical advice, 3 sessions a week fitness, people dropping 7 or 8 stone. I did a gala dinner, big shows and videos of the whole transformation. And I did that for 3 years, did 6 different cycles of it, and changed, over 200 people's lives, but fully. And I got nominated for Pride of Britain, made it to the last 3, but didn't win. But, and so all of that came, I had no idea. And then someone wanted to come and buy my schools, and they wanted to buy the schools off me and the guy, 2 guys, amazing guys. I didn't want to go do it because they wanted me to go with the business because of my concept and ideas, and they wanted to help more kids all over the country with special needs and open more schools. I didn't want to do it, but it was part of that, and it was life changing for the other 2 as well. So I moved into this new thing under the parameters that when I can help 1,000 children across the country who's been let down by their families, education, abuse, suffer with mental health, when we can create 500 jobs, help 25 local authorities, then I retire. I got to 39 years old, 11 months and 2 weeks. School opened, sat there with the CEO and the board and said, I'm retiring. And that was my life story to the point before Mike Burton's positive message started.
Wow. Like, I know I've heard this before, but it's been a year since I've heard it. For just the speeches. I didn't have to talk last time after listening to it. I was just sitting there listening to you last time. Mike, it's just absolutely an incredible story. Like, what I hear through all of this is that it's that inner child, and you referred to him already, the little boy
Yeah.
that wanted and needed love. It was like and I'm by no means, speaking on your behalf, but it sounds very much
No, yeah.
like you're giving these children what you needed at their
100%.
age.
Yeah, I genuinely, Pride of Britain, when they came, they interview your full life all day. And I was teaching this fitness class. I had my class on the Tuesday used to have between 140 and 150 people in. So they'd all come and there was all these people changing life, every shape and size. I used to call it Sweatfest. Yeah. Everyone come, me in the middle, nobody else, 140, 150 people. The video in it, and they pull me in, as they do, you can imagine, dramatic camera comes in and goes, Mike, so you do all these amazing things for your community. Why do you do it? I was like, no one's asked me to stop. I'll have to come back to you. It took me about 5 minutes to realize that I was just trying to support people and give them love, care, and attention because I didn't feel I got that as a child.
Do you feel you have that now?
And that's where Mike Burton's positive message is, like, what it's done for me personally. When I retired, I was gone through therapy at that point, because I'd realized when I sold the company, I had a panic attack. I sat on the toilet, saw the money in my bank, and I had a panic attack because it didn't take any pain away. And I've been striving for financial security my whole life because I haven't got it. And that wasn't what I should have been striving for. I didn't fix any problem in my life. I'd been surviving my whole life. But on the face of it, it looks like I'd been so successful. I hadn't achieved anything because I'd done it through fear of failure, thinking that tomorrow all the house of cards are going to come down. And when I walked out that toilet, hyperventilating, thinking I was going to die, said to my partner at the time, I'm not happy. She's like, what do you mean you're not happy? I'm ringing 999, telling the woman on the call, I'm dying. She's like, you're not. I'm like, I am dying. She goes, you're not. After about 5 minutes, she goes, I went, how do you know I'm not dying? She goes, you're talking to me, mate. You're still breathing.
Yeah.
Like, I can laugh about it
I've
now.
had numerous panic attacks back in my day. It is like, when people are like, oh, I'm having a panic attack. It's like, no. Like, if you've had a real panic attack.
You feel that your windpipe's closing up. You can't breathe. Even though you are breathing, you can't. And I thought, this is me gone. And at that point, I went to therapy, started peeling back the onion, all that stuff of rejection, your childhood, inner child work, doing all of that, repaired the relationship with my mum, did all of that to this point that led to the first time in my life. I told the therapist, I'm off away to Tenerife, I'm retiring. She said to me, you can't fucking retire, you'll go mental. I was like, that was her words. Obviously, we've got a good relationship. She shouldn't have used that terminology, but she did. It was amazing. And she was right. She was like, you've got ADHD, you're driven, you've got all this energy and passion to make a difference. Do you know what you're doing? I was like, no, I definitely can. Obviously, I couldn't. And when I went away to Tenerife, I can remember sat there and the first time in my life, Kate, that I had a choice. Never had one. Wow. Everything else was survival. And I can remember by this point, my morning routine's on point. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock latest, even on holiday, going for a walk, having a coffee, reflecting, walking meditation, jumping in the sea, doing all the cold water work, everything else. But I didn't know who I was. And I was walking on that seafront going, what's Mike Burton going to do? What's he going to do? And I was just thinking to myself, what's next? And day one, I was like, you can do this. No, you can't. You'll fail at that. What would you do? I could do this. What would they say about that? All that negative inner voice that comes. Day 6, I'm walking up and down that seafront. And on day 6, I'm thinking, what are you going to do? And I just changed the terminology. Rather than what you're going to do, what's your purpose in this world? And I'm not religious in any way. And I do believe there's a power at work, whether it's God, whether it's the universe, there's something at work that's got a plan for us all. And at this point, I can just remember it come to me. And it was, you've been put on this earth to make a positive difference to it and help as many people as possible. And at that point, and I never get bored of telling this story, I literally was like, yes, I know what I'm going to do. And I took my top off, took my shorts off in my pants, got my tits out, run in the sea. And you see it on my page and I get it and I jump out the water, first video. I'm Mike Burton. I want to make a positive difference to the world. I can't make a positive difference to the world on my own. Let's all share one positive message a day and you can help me make a difference to the world. Stop. Bang. Done. captions all over my face, everything. Didn't know what I was doing. Posted it on Instagram. Said to myself, I'm going to do a message every single day for a year to try and help somebody not suffer the pain that I have.
Yeah.
I did 365 days, went back to Tenerife, recreated the video on the 365th day, and just thought, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I'm not a business. I'm not a coach. I don't sell anything. I became a motivational speaker by accident, by people watching me online and asking me to go. What's funny enough, bearing in mind I was in trouble with the police growing up, guess where my first talk was? Humberside Police. So it was really strange, like a full circle moment. And ever since that point, I've run my own events. I've mindset movement with some amazing people. Tom Talks, the Mindset Soldier, Louise Hawkins. 4 of us traveled around giving talks. I'm now working with, fitness companies. Been working like now with yourself. Met me at Sean Case's, your social circle. Like Sean thinks it's crazy, and the guys do. I'm the only person that pays for the social circle who doesn't make money. It's like, but I genuinely believe this, the power of community. Being part of a community, I realized, what do I need? I need love, care, and attention. And that comes from somebody that truly loves me as a partner, my kid, my friends. And then you need to create a community and tribe where you share the same values and interests. And for me, this is a full circle moment. If I didn't pay to be part of the social circle, I'd have never met you. We wouldn't be having this amazing conversation, and we could never have potentially helped one person. So the thousands of pounds that I've invested selflessly into this is worth it, because I've had 7 people reach out to me, Kate, and said, I was about to just take my own life, and I didn't, because I was able to open your messages and watch them. And they was people who was at the point of doing it, not thinking about it. And for me, that's worth every dark morning, every difficult moment I have to come over to share with people and be vulnerable, because I genuinely wish everybody could be happy, or at least be happy for one day in their life. And when you get messages like that, it just makes all of it worthwhile.
Yeah. Like it's literally, the way I think people overthink their purpose sometimes when it like, so you get a message like that and numerous messages like that, it's just so raw that you're like, this is what it's actually all about.
Oh, it is. I was talking to my partner this morning, and I said, I know sometimes I can mostly be a bit much, because I see the world, I see messages everywhere, because I just look at life. I'm not looking at a book. And I said, I know it can be, but I said, and today was the first day that I truly said it out loud, if I'm being honest. Yeah. And I said this to her. I said, Emma, I know I can be a bit intense with trying to make a positive difference to the world, and it's Mike Burton's positive messages page. But I said, I fucking love it. I just love it. I said, I'm so passionate about wanting to make a difference to people's lives. And everybody says to me, you're strange. You like, I get messages off like, people would call people like me or you more yourself, because you're, an influencer, as people call it, or a content creator, or a businesswoman. And people say this all the time, like, and I class like yourself as like your high level person. And when I say this, within the social media, industry or space, you have an influence. And when you've seen millions of pieces of content, you've come across thousands of people, and the people, because you're on it all the time and you have been to build your business, and the amount of people like yourself, Kate, who say this to me, and I get these off people that I never dreamed. When you've got to see people with 500,000 followers, 2 million followers, and they message me saying, please never stop being you. You're the most authentic person on Instagram.
Yeah. I think we live in a world that's so messed up though, like in relation to social media, that we class people with that we class people according to their followings. Like it's
Oh,
like there's so much
yeah.
shit out there. Even myself at times when I'm posting things, and I've never said this on the podcast before, but I will, because it's kind of what I'm going through at the
Yeah.
minute is, sometimes I look at what stuff I'm posting and I'm like, hey, why did you post that? Like that's not really in line with your message, which is much more what the
Yeah.
podcast is about. And like sometimes it can be for you're like, that a video is going to do well because people like to see those type of videos.
Yeah.
You do. Like if we're being quite honest. And that's what social media has become. It's become this fight for attention and then the
Yeah.
quality of the message. And I really want to say this because I know a lot of people listening, will have come across me on social media and will, look you up on social media now if they haven't already come across you. And, so social media is where they do find really good quality information as well. But it's to be careful about who like the messages that you're taking in, and just because you
Yeah.
see something over and over and over again from different people doesn't mean that it's right as well.
And it's not always right for you.
Exactly.
That's the other thing. Just because you're seeing it all the time, it's because the algorithm wants you to see it because people's made a good, catchy video. But I always say this to people: connection is key. Find somebody that you can connect with. If you lock onto somebody's page that's put, like, I love the Social Circle family, honestly. But sometimes if I have to see one more food recipe video, oh my word. But if you want to blow up, do food recipes.
Yeah.
If you want to make an impact to people, be authentic and be yourself. And if you drop on somebody's page, if it's doing food recipes, if it's mental health, if it's fitness, whatever it is, don't watch the video you've just watched. Please scroll through their feed to find the one when they talk about themselves and then find, is that the person who you can relate to?
Yeah, that's
Like,
such a good point. Look through their page, look on their
yeah.
stories. You'll learn a lot about the person, not just one video, because that can be taken so out of context. And if someone listening, if there's someone that you've been following on Instagram and that their messaging is making a difference to your life, or that you find it useful, doesn't matter how many followers they have, they love to hear that.
100%. Just like genuinely, I say morning, morning at the beginning of every one of my videos or on my stories. And people always say, why do you say that? It's double as positive. Start the day with some momentum. Being positive is all about momentum. You have to build little daily habits, little opportunities to progress your life. One act of positivity will help you change maybe a few minutes, maybe 10. Compound that to 2, 3, 4, you change your mood in your day. You make them habits that you produce every day, you change your life. And that's the difference. But please remember this: find out what works for you. Would I say to everybody, get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, it'll change your life? Absolutely not. Just get up a little bit earlier than you are now and carry out one more positive action that's going to improve your day. Because if you get up and you do 10 minutes outside walking, that will change your life if you did it every single day of the year. Just 10 minutes. Getting that natural vitamin D, get that serotonin moving in your body, boost that mood, get the endorphins going, switch your phone off, literally get outdoors for 10 minutes. If you can't get outdoors, genuinely do something that works for you. Walking, writing, painting, reading, having a cup of coffee, whatever it is, 10 minutes in your own head. And that is meditation. You don't have to sit there like this. You don't have to sit there like this. You don't have to get in a cold plunge. You don't have to do breath work. They are all high level things that you can do to give yourself extra 1% in your life. Simply have 10 minutes on your own thinking about, what do I want? Let me repeat that. What do I want that is going to make me a better version of myself today? And for 10 minutes a day, don't put your kids first. Don't put work first. Don't put, the life problems that are in your face every single day first. Put yourself first, because it is so cliche, but it's true. If you don't look after yourself, you can't look after everybody else. But it's the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
And when I say this is a massive high five to all the amazing, kind people out there, because you're the people who will find that the hardest to do, because you're a good person. Good people struggle to put themselves first.
and you're actually going to help more people by,
Yeah.
I hate sounding so cliche, fill your own cup first, but it's so true. Just give yourself that little bit of time, because that's where the magic starts to grow inside you.
Yeah.
And you don't even, like, you, as you said, you were like, I didn't even know what I wanted to do after I sold the business. I'm like,
No.
so you're just kind of doing things that you enjoy, like getting in the sea and going for walks, and trying to figure out what you want to do. Like, I know people can have really chaotic lives and full-time jobs and all sorts of stuff going on, but just create a little bit of space for the magic, where you do a little bit of something that makes you feel good inside, which will lead to the next thing and the next thing. And you
Yeah.
can still be dealing with your life's problems. Let's say you've got huge financial problems, for example. If you've got huge financial problems, if you spend all day worrying and thinking about those huge financial problems, that's not helping the huge financial
No.
problems. Yes, they have to be dealt with at specific times, and plans need to come up and you need to get help or
100%.
whatever. But that, you shouldn't take that away from your magic time. Like, be
No.
your child, be your inner child. That, I just think,
Yeah,
and
we could learn so much from kids, right? I say children, how much we can learn from children. Children haven't been affected by mental health yet, the vast majority of them.
Mhm.
You ask the kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a fireman. They genuinely believe it. Why can't we learn from children? Do you know why they believe they're going to be a fireman? Because the world hasn't told them they can't. They haven't been exposed to social media. They haven't had the comparison of the thief of joy, seeing everybody else who's better than them. They haven't been able to be told they can't achieve. They're not even locking on to being, I need a positive role model right now. And that's when you think to yourself, at that moment, children are fearless. And we need to be the same thing in pursuit of our dreams. When you ask yourself the question, what do you want to be? Say exactly what you think without any self doubt,
Yeah.
because that's what kids
Yeah,
do.
we need to
It's like,
stop rationalizing it. That's what
yeah,
it is. Yeah.
should I say it? Should I say it? It's like it goes through 44 different sections of your mind before it can come out your mouth, because you're trying to actually, and I go back to one of the cliche things I said that I use all the time. Say it and believe it, but goes back to the one thing you can live your life by. Make a decision and make it right along the way. It's never going to be perfect. Even when you get there, it still won't be perfect. And I just see when you talk about children, do you know what else I love? I love dogs, right? I ain't got a dog. I've grown up with dogs, but do you know why I love dogs? They are the best communicators in the world. We could all learn so much from them. If they're unhappy, you'll know about it. They're going to bark at you. If they're scared, they're going to tell you straight away. If they're happy, that tail's going to wag like fuck, and you're going to know they're happy. But for us, we can be happy, but guess what? We won't even celebrate it. Why? Because we're scared what somebody else will think. In life, be more like a dog. Let your tail wag and become your own biggest cheerleader. If you achieve something, celebrate it like you've never celebrated anything before, because then the people who celebrate with you, they are your true friends. It's the fastest way to get the negative people out of your life. Become your own biggest cheerleader, milk the fucking ass out of it, and the people that cheer with you, there's your tribe right there.
Yes. Do you know what, Mike? That is such a great place to finish it. I was like, well, I'm actually going to just be like that's just mic drop moment there. Thank you so much for this conversation. This has just been I feel so inspired myself now. Is there anything else that you would like to leave people with, or anywhere you'd like to direct people? Well, first of all, where to find you on Instagram, or if there's anything
Yeah.
else you'd like to say in relation to anything.
For me, if disclaimer, if you come and follow my page, Mike Burton's Positive Messages, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, but you're not going to be able to buy anything. If you're a business or a school or something, you can book me and I can come do a talk. Which I do charge for, yeah, but I give the money to charity and, sustain what the business is to help me be able to spread more messages. But you can't book a coaching session with me. I'm not going to send you a DM trying to get you on a program. I'm not selling you an ebook. The only thing I'm going to sell you is one dose of positivity every single day with this big smiley face. And sometimes I'm not that happy, but I'll share that with you as well. But when I say, if you don't follow me, I only want to leave you a one message, is we're not designed to be happy. We have to work at being happy every single day. And I'm sorry to tell you that life is going to be tough and it's going to throw you challenges, but you are strong enough. Please never doubt yourself. You are enough just the way you are. Yes, you can become better, but you are an amazing person, and don't let anybody else tell you you're not. And good people do bad things sometimes. Don't let it hold you back from the life that you deserve. Because I say at the end of every one of my videos, smile, it's a great day to be alive. And it is. Because if you're listening to this or you're watching this, you have opened your eyes today when 147,000 people haven't had that opportunity. You can right your wrongs, you can repair relationships, you can chase your dreams, you can improve your health, because somebody sadly up there would give anything to sing one more time, dance one more time, and hug the people they love. So if the only thing you can do when you open your eyes today is smile, because it's always a great day to be alive.
I'm speechless. That was amazing. Mike, thank you so much. I'm actually almost crying.
No,
Thank you so much. That was
no, I
amazing.
appreciate it.
I know we will be having another one of these conversations again soon, because it's just been amazing.
Okay, no problem. Appreciate it.
I just want to say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. And I would just ask for one thing from you. If at all possible, could you make sure that you subscribe to the podcast? It really does make such a difference. If there's a particular episode that you've enjoyed, please do share it in your WhatsApp groups, share it on your stories, tag myself and the guest in your stories. All of these things really do help to grow the podcast. And obviously, if there's anything you'd like to reflect on, please do leave a comment. It would mean the world to me, and I will see you on the next one.